Video walkthrough on Forest River Alpha Wolf. So right in the back, you are pre-wired for a backup camera. It does not come with a backup camera. That's a separate purchase. Comes with your screen and the camera and all that. We can install that for you if you'd like. Screen goes in the truck, and then your camera pulls power from your marker light, so the running lights on your truck will have to be on. This does fold down. Pull this pin right here. Whoop. Pull this pin out. It folds down, lays flat. Pin it back in through here. And then you have it's a 200-pound storage capacity for coolers and maybe like some kids' bikes or something. Nothing too heavy. 30-amp short cord. It's your short cord. It comes with a unit. It's about 25-30 feet long. And then in all four corners you have these stabilizer jacks. A 3/4-inch socket. If you want to have a adapter for your drill, you can run them with a drill. Just make sure you lubricate them often. Slide seals. Every once in a while, I want to check your slide seals. Make sure they're not dry or cracked or anything like that. So here's your main area. So you got your outdoor shower. Behind there will be hot and cold. Here, we'll even open it up for you. If you don't drop my keys. On the set of keys you'll given, one of your keys will look like that one. And hot and cold. You have a water hookup, so this one's your city. That's a black tank flush. Please don't get them confused. They're all labeled. If you hook up to your black tank flush, second it's your city, you're going to fill up your black tank with water. Next thing you know, it's going to come out your toilet and out your roof on your vent stack. So be careful. Fresh water fill. Stick your hose in there to fill your onboard tank. Let's see. Don't jam it in there, just rest it in there. That'll fill your onboard tank. And you can watch how full it is on your panel inside. You'll need to run your pump if you're pulling from your onboard tank. If you're using your city water, you just operate off of city water pressure. Right below that, you have your tanks to drain everything. So we'll put this cap on for you, just like that. You know what? I'm a little picky. I get so the label's facing the right way around. There we go. So the one on your right is your black tank, one on your left is your gray tank. Always recommend making sure these are closed. I always push them in, make sure they're closed before you take the cap off. Otherwise, you're going to get some stuff you don't want in your face. And then I always recommend, after you have your hose hooked up and ready to go, dumping your black tank first, letting that dump out, then dumping your gray. That's going to flush out your hose. Now, you don't have to keep your hose in your storage compartment. You can actually put it in your bumper. Those caps come off. It's a 4x4 bumper. It's the perfect size for your sewer hose. Water heater, very easy to use. When you're ready, you put your anode rod in the hole right here. Get it threaded by hand, and then if you have an 1/16" socket, I use that with a little extension. Tighten it up. I don't over tighten it. Tighten it so it doesn't leak, but not super tight. Then as soon as you hook up water to this, it'll start filling the tank in there, and then you can turn your water heater on. If you want to run it on electric, this little switch out here, you gotta turn it on here. If you want it on gas, you have to turn it on the inside. The only thing I recommend you guys doing, I would say a couple times a year, cleaning in here if you see anything, and then cleaning up in there if you see anything. Just keep it clean in there, keep anything from burning. And then before you take your plug out to drain it, and I recommend draining it after every trip, because if you forget you had water sitting in a sink, next time you drain it, it's going to be really smelly. Water will get stagnant after a couple of days, even worse after a couple of weeks. So before you pull that plug out, though, pull your pressure relief. Whoop. Water will come out there. Once the water stops coming out, you can snap that closed, then you can pull that plug out. And what you're doing is you're draining all that pressure in there. Even if you don't even run your water heater, there's still going to be pressure in the tank. So, and even more if you run it, because the hot water will expand, it'll build pressure in there. And if you forget to do that pressure relief, you're going to launch that anode rod right at your chest or stomach or however tall you are. Plenty of pass-through storage here. Keep any unruly children or husbands or wives. Get a manual backup crank, that'll be a backup crank for your tongue jack. Then you have another crank on the other side, that's your manual crank for these. You can also do it like a drill, like I said. Lots of good information here. Got your VIN, tire pressure 65, do it off of that, not what your tires say. Cargo carrying capacity, gross vehicle weight, rating, tire size if you need to order tires. Yep, very simple. Battery looks like a Group 27 battery, so a bigger battery, a little bit more amperage, cold cranking amps. In the winter, I definitely recommend taking your battery completely out, storing it somewhere warm. There's a battery disconnect, and we'll show you that on the inside in a little bit. Some docking lights. Light switch there. Propane, you can actually take this cover off to get access to everything. And you do have 2 tanks. They will be filled when you receive it. And then your automatic changeover regulator here, so it's pointing to this tank. It's going to pull from this tank first. If you were to have both tanks on and this one were to go empty, it'll switch to pulling from this tank. However, this won't rotate, indicating it has switched. So always keep that in the back of your head. You could be halfway through this tank and you still think you're running off of this tank. Next thing you know, you're completely out of propane. So just keep checking on it. I always recommend just doing one at a time. That way you know when your flame goes down or your furnace shuts off, come out here, switch the tanks over, just turn the knob, turn one off, turn the other one on. That way you know, hey, I gotta get gas in one of my tanks. You got a nice little handy holder for your chains, always cross them when you're hooked up, and a little holder for your 7-way. And then you have your breakaway right here. Breakaway is hooked to a little box up underneath there. If you were to ever lose your trailer from all your hitch work, it's going to pull the pin in the box, activate the brakes on the trailer, keep you from rolling away. Power tongue jack with LED light underneath it. Raise and lower from here. And I tell you, that beats hand cranking every day of the week. Over here, you are pre-wired for solar. You have to get the Furrion solar kit because of the panels and all that you need, and that just is going to trickle charge your battery. That's all. So you can dry camp and not use all your voltage, not voltage, all your battery life. Right in here, whoop! That's your controller for your solar. Light, you have little LED lights in here to help see. And you do have your battery disconnect. So pointing up is on, pushing into turn, pointing to red is off. So if you want your battery to be charged when you're plugged in, have it on. If you have it stored, plugged in, and all closed up, and you disconnect your battery trying to save your battery is going to die, especially in the winter, because it's not receiving the charge because you disconnected it. So if you want to charge your battery by being plugged in, it still needs to be connected. But this is good for if you're stepping away from the campground for a few hours and you forgot to turn some lights on and you closed it all up, and you don't want to have to open it up again to turn off a light you left on. You can just disconnect the battery, turns all the lights off, shuts all the power running off the battery. If you were to unplug it. If you're plugged in, stuff's still going to work with a battery disconnect. A little coupler to make your own hose. And outdoor shower sprayer. That's your sprayer. We'll show you more of that as we get to it. Yep. Have a nice little latch for a leash for a dog. Don't forget your dog was there when you're packing up and leaving, because that's good for securing the dog so he's not running around when you're packing up and getting ready to leave your trip. But don't forget him there. Dual speakers outside. You can switch from inside to outside on your radio. Have a TV mount. The other part of it is inside, and we'll show you that. Cable hookup. This one's for satellite if you have a portable satellite, just like I showed you on the other side. GFCI, in the case I might not have shown you actually, and I don't want to leave you folks hanging. We'll go back over here. Yeah. See, I don't think I showed you this. I don't think I talked about it. You must have saw it. That one's for cable. This one's for a satellite dish. If you have like a portable dish TV or dish network satellite on a tripod, you can hook it up through there. Sorry about that. Taking you all over the place. So this one will be cable. That one for satellite. And then you have a GFCI protected outlet. all your GFCI outlets on the same circuit. If one would have tripped, they're all going to trip. All the GFCI ones, rather. Exhaust for your furnace. Keep that clean. They make a screen for those. I recommend the screens for storage and maybe even travel, but they don't recommend you run the screens with the furnace on. So if you're going to turn your furnace on, take your screens off. They just restrict airflow, and you want a lot of airflow coming out of your exhaust. Range vent, exterior range vent, you pop it open by just pulling your finger underneath here and pulling this little plastic flap out. That allows the exhaust from the actual fan to go somewhere. If you have it closed and you have your fan on, it's not actually venting anything out. Nice exterior kitchen, and don't worry, this will all be cleaned before you get it. Slide this out. Slide your propane line, tuck it out from underneath here, and then you plug it in right there. And you can see this little gray valve that you turn on and off. So once you have it in, if you want to light this, you turn your knob to high light, and you light your burner with a match or a barbecue lighter. This gets locked, so to close it, lift this up so it clears it, push it closed. You have a little sink basin. There's no drain in it, you just dump the water out. But you can fill it with water if you're trying to wash some dishes or something. Ice maker, you have to actually add water to it. It's not hooked to any water lines. As well as GFCI outlet with one plug free, and then a plug for your fridge. This fridge is only going to work when you're plugged in. And then access to that spray port. That sprayer I was showing you in that compartment. It's just like a quick disconnect, just like an airline fitting. Just like your fitting for that propane line. What's nice about this is like your bar area. So you got ice, put your drinks in there. You can mix your drinks on this table. It's pretty nice. Yeah. That pretty much concludes the exterior tour. We'll head ourselves on in. Right to the right, your main controls. So right at the top, we'll start at the top. This is a knob to adjust your lights, the brightness, turn on and off the lights on your awning, raise and lower the brightness, and then all the way over, shuts them off. Then you have outside LED, so if you have this all the way up and you turn off the outside LEDs, it turns the lights off. So that's outside LED. So that's it for the awning lights. Let's get to the awning. So down on the switch extends it out. And this is when those lights come in handy. And they're actually, since they're LED, they're pretty bright. And they shine right up at the fabric, and it'll kind of reflect off. It'll look pretty nice. Once you see the bare tube like that, the flap hanging down, you're all the way open. These awnings are very easy to adjust. Pitch for rain, so you can pitch it down to have rain come off one end. Hard to do one-handed though. Grab it here, push your awning in, see how it gets closer to that. Then you tighten that knob. Then you see how it pitches the awning to one end. And then push it back up. Always. Yep. If you roll it in wet, I definitely recommend when it gets sunny out again to roll it back out. As soon as it gets sunny, roll it back out. Let the water dry. And the only reason you would roll it in wet is if it starts raining, and you have it, because you would have it pitched for the rain if for sprinkling. But if it starts really storming, really getting real windy, roll your awning in. The wind will rip this awning right off if it gets windy enough. So that you'd roll it in because it was raining, it'd be wet. As soon as it gets sunny, roll it back out, let it dry out. It retains that water and gets kind of mildewy. Controls for your water pump and your water heater. If you turn it on here, it's going to turn it on gas. This is your pump. If you're pulling from your onboard tank, that's what it would do. Inside LED just does those LEDs there. Living room lights just turns the main lights on. And all these lights stay in the down position. You just click them up. That, and then kitchen lights does these two lights right there. And you have your slide that just controls that slide right there. And you have your monitoring panel. Now you don't have all these extra stuff. You have black one, gray one. That's it. But you can read battery life. I'll say full. You can also read how much voltage is going through your lines currently, 13.3 volts. And that says that because that's what your converter outputs. That your converter changes 120 to 12 volt, and that's what charges your battery. That's what allows you to run all your lights even if you didn't have a battery in it. You can read fresh tank, black 2, black 1, and gray 2. Remember I said there isn't black 2 and gray 2, so just be black 1 and gray 1. And then I don't think I mentioned how to drain your fresh tank. So you have to. I always recommend draining. You see, again with this back and forth shit. Let's see, right there. So those are your drains. Two of them will be your low points, and one of them will be to drain your fresh tank. Back inside. Sorry about that, folks. So that's it for that. Remember that's the knob for the light. This light switch, since this is 30 amp and it has a fireplace and a microwave, you can only run them one at a time. So flip the switch up, diverts power from the microwave to your fireplace. That's what that's for. Pretty simple over here. Little snake around. This turns into a bed. Difficult to do one-handed, but you just remove these cushions. Back cushions just velcroed on. You lift up here, fold it up and out. There's two legs. You swing down, sets down there. Then you would take this back part right here, and that folds down to create a nice platform to sleep on. It does block access though. You have GFCI outlet, USB ports right there. These lights turn on right there. Same exact deal on that side. Nice dinette table, chairs strapped down. These chairs, hard to do when they're strapped down, but you can lift these up. You can see, lift them up. And there's storage underneath. Two more USB ports there. Outlet underneath there. Then your radio. Radio is super simple. Power on. You can skip through your channels there. You can turn on and off zone. So push and hold zone 1 turns the inside speakers off. And then push and hold zone 2. Zone 2 on. That's your outside speakers. So you could have inside off, inside on, outside off. And that allows you to listen to music at night. You not to bother your neighbors, or if you want to listen to music outside and someone's sleeping inside, then you won't bother them that way. This button right here, see if you can turn it on because it'll get backlit. Bluetooth, USB, AM, FM, your zones, and then your source, auxiliary, and then AV. Ignore the HDMI and AV. Just use your auxiliary. That's HDMI pass-through if you want to deal with setting that up. That would have to be with your routing wires and all that. And then you have headphone jack, auxiliary, that's the HDMI pass-through, USB, right there. Very simple. If you just tap the power button, it mutes it, push and hold, turn it off. Fireplace, very easy to use. You have controls for it there. Again, but your fireplace won't work with that microwave on, so flip the switch up for fireplace. And let's see if we can't find you your remote. There we go. So here's your remote for that radio. Here's your remote for your fireplace. So hit power on, turns it on. You can see the numbers there. If I hit heat, that's 0, no heat, low heat, high heat. And then temperature, you can change it to what it sets to. Then you have a dimmer right here. Changes the size of the flame. Then a timer, you can go all the way from 30 minutes all the way to, I think, 8 hours. Let's see. No, 9 hours. So 0 minute, 30 minute, half an hour, all the way to 9 hours. This manila envelope is going to have all your manuals for it and everything. Then you have a couple extra components. They just threw any part they installed that had a manual, they put the manual in there for you. Switch back to the microwave. Microwave only going to work when you're plugged in, or if you're plugged in and you can't figure out why isn't it working, you probably remember you got that switch over there. Light, range hood, fan. Takes a little while to spin up. There you can hear it. Again, if you're running this fan, you don't have that flap open outside. That fan isn't doing anything. Well, it's not venting anything anywhere. Nice cooktop, some lights there, folding glass, backsplash, like that. To light it, you just turn it to high, twist it. There's no gas on, so you just twist this to spark it. Once it's lit, you're good. Do the same thing for all of them. You can turn them all on at once and then it'll light them all. Your oven's a little bit different. You look in there, you see how it twists this? See how it sparks there? So there's a pilot you have to light in the oven. So you turn this to the little flame, push it in. You see how I push it in? And as you're pushing it in, you turn that until you see your pilot lit. So it's easy to kneel down, open up the oven so you can see. Once it's lit, you can change it to whatever temperature you need to. And then once your burner's lit, you can it'll cycle on and off. If you are gonna cook again in a few hours, I always recommend just when you turn it off, turn it to your flame. That shuts your burners off, leaves your pilot lit, so you don't have to go through and relight your pilot again. I always turn it off before I go to bed. You don't want a lit pilot overnight. Fridge, super simple, super simple. There's no buttons, no on, no off buttons. It's a 12-volt fridge that runs off of it converts your converter converts your 120 volt to 12 volt, and your fridge runs off of that. So if you lose power, your fridge will be running off your battery. So you have a nice big Group 27 battery, so your fridge can last a little while after let's say the campground will lose power. But as soon as you can, I would recommend getting it plugged in because your battery doesn't last forever. Right below that, breaker box. You got all your breakers for your 110, all your fuses for your 12 volt. I always recommend keeping some spare fuses. Right over there, propane and carbon monoxide gas alarm. That's hardwired to the 12 volt system. There's no batteries you have to worry about changing. Your smoke alarm is just a 9 volt battery. So that'll give you the low voltage chirps, like the ones at home, time to throw no battery in it. If this one does that, usually it only does the low voltage chirps if you were to be unplugged and the battery up front was dying. Nice little pantry. Here, you got access. This goes to your radio. So if you wanted to snake this back through here, and plug it into your TV, you can have your TV audio come out through your radio. You have your auxiliary and satellite, so that's that one. TV hooked through here. If you're going to use your antenna, make sure your booster is on. That's a little button there. You hook your cables up, run it through here, run your power through there, back into here. That keeps everything neat. So you get a TV that would fit this mount, and the nice thing about it is if you have this TV mounted, and let's say, it's a nice day outside, you can unhook everything. Snake it out through here, pick your TV up, carry it outside, and this slips right onto that mount outside. You could also buy another one of these mounts, so you can just have another TV prepared just to be set up outside. Other than that, that acts as a nice big pantry. Pre-wired for Wi-Fi hotspot. This does not have in it. You just pre-wired for it. Thermostat, very simple. Hit the button. It'll do your fan, so that just runs your AC fan, no compressor, high or low. Cool, high, low, auto. Auto low, auto high. Definitely recommend auto with your AC, especially if it's super hot out. If it's super duper hot out and you have your AC running, especially if it's humid and it gets, let's say you have it set to 36, which is as low as your AC actually goes. Actually, I think it goes even lower than this. Nope, 36 degrees is as low as your AC will go, which is pretty dang cold. Once it reaches that temperature, it's just going to keep running. And the problem with that is if it's hot and humid, eventually it'll freeze up and shut off. So I always recommend cool on the auto settings. Then you have heat, and your heat goes all the way to 99. And then again, your heat has auto. There you go. And then just heat. Just like that, and then off. Very simple to use. cut through the bathroom to get to the bedroom, get your shower, undo this little rubber strap, slide it open, get a nice cutout sunlight-ish, so for the taller people can stand in there, a nice natural light in there too. Then you have hot and cold, very self-explanatory for your shower. These have like little magnets that help it close, but make sure you strap that down when you travel, or else these doors are going to be sliding everywhere. Your lights for in here are actually on the ceiling. You have to turn them on individually. You have your fan vent here, so you crank this open with your vent here. Pop, crank it open there, and then you turn this knob or run your fan. So you have 3 different fan speeds. Nice storage in here. You can keep some toilet paper in there, extra toiletries and towels in here. You got a medicine cabinet in there. Resettable GFCI right there. So if any of you are GFCIs with a trip, this is the one you go and reset it at. Right there, just like you want at home. Toilet, very simple. As long as you're pushing this pedal down, it's going to flush. The nice thing about this toilet is it's porcelain, just like you want at home. So it's going to feel like a more sturdy toilet. Cut into the bedroom, another GFCI outlet there on either side. Dual USB port over there. This one has USB ports too. It's built in right there. This is a wireless charger for a Furrion branded Bluetooth speaker. So if you buy, and we sell those here actually. So if you buy the speaker, the one that goes with this kit, you can actually hook it up to there, and it charges it right through here. So it's not really a wireless charger, but it's a nice charging station. Spot for a TV in here. GFCI protected outlet. Cable hookup for your TV backer in this wall. Keep it here. So you'd be kind of stuck to a smaller TV. If you get like a pivoting mount, you can kind of remount it over here. Or if you're even careful and you find a stud in this wall, you could mount a TV there if you wanted to. If you're gonna buy like a TV mount from here, or even at like Walmart or something, look at your screws before you screw them into there. Make sure they're not too long, because if you use too long of a screw and you poke a hole through the outside of the camper, that's not warranty. That's something you'd have to pay to fix. Yeah, and again, light switches for in here on the fixtures themselves. Same with those 2 lights there. Then your bed does fold up. You have some storage in there. Extra blankets or pillows or something. Yeah, and then your door. Unsnap the button and it just slides. It doesn't lock closed or anything, but it does latch open to keep it from sliding. Definitely don't forget to do that when you're traveling, so your door isn't sliding all over the place. Yeah, and that pretty much concludes the tour of your interior of your Alpha Wolf. I hope you folks enjoy it.